One of the questions I get most frequently is what's the best wakeboard boat? But a lot of people think what's the biggest wake, and that's not always the best for each situation and each rider. So today I'm on the new Z3 and I'm going to run through setting it up for wakeboarding for everybody from first-time kids to beginners all the way up to pro-level riders. One of the things I found really impressive with this boat is how dynamic it is. Whether you want a wake that's not intimidating and easy for a 5-year-old to get over, or pro-level, big, peaky wakes, this boat can kind of do it all. So let's dive into each setting and why I set it up the way I do. So before we get into all the details, these are just kind of a starting point to work from. This is how I had it set up for me riding today. But depending on the size of your crew, people's skill and comfort level, feel free to fine tune it and do whatever works for the rider in the situation. This is not a hard and fast rule for how to set it up, but an example to work from for how I set up the Z3 for wakeboarding. So first up, this is actually kind of a bonus setting. This isn't programmed into the boat, but it is one that I would recommend for people just getting started wakeboarding. And that's setting up the beginner wake profile and dropping the speed down to about 17 miles an hour. What that's going to do is engage all 3 plates on the back of the boat, and it makes the wake extremely approachable. Flattens everything out and makes it so there's not too much of a lip. So first timers, young kids learning to ride, I highly recommend going as slow as you can and making the wake as unintimidating as possible. So that's what this setting really exceeds at. Today, as I'm riding this setting, my rope is at 70 feet, the boat speed is at 17 miles an hour, and I'm in that beginner wake mode, so all 3 plates are down. And as you can see, the wake is really flat, easy to roll over, but it's not gonna hold you back from getting into some little jumps. A lot of times people revert to wanting the wake big to get air, but one of the best ways that you can learn to start leaving the water and getting comfortable with that is having a small wake. So you jump small, you crash small. If you fill the boat up with ballast right away, it just makes things way less forgiving. So using this setting is kind of a cheat code for low impact riding. So up next, a more true beginner setting. This is what I'm thinking of is somebody that has wakeboarded before, is looking to start doing some jumps, but maybe not looking to, go over 20 miles an hour. So what I did was I set the beginner setting, which doesn't feel any ballast in the boat, and I bumped the speed just up a little bit, up to 19 miles an hour. So that retracts those side plates and gives you a little more peak on your wake. And 19 miles an hour is really a dynamic speed because depending on where your rope length is, you can do a lot with it. So for starters, I'm out at 70 feet at 19 miles an hour, and this is perfect for learning one wake jumps, getting comfortable in the air and getting a little bit more pop than you would at a slower speed. But what's also really cool about 19 miles an hour is you can get a clean wake and jump wake to wake if you just pull your rope in a little bit. So by pulling my rope in to 55 feet, I'm able to actually fully clear the wakes. A lot of people think when they want to learn wake to wake jumps, they need to go way faster, be on a long line so they can swing across the whole wake. But one of the easiest, low impact and fun ways to do it is just go the speed you're used to going and pull your rope in short. And this Z3 handles that really well. Being able to stick right around 19 miles an hour, shortening the rope up, having a nice, soft, forgiving wake to do my first wake to wake jumps, just make it really approachable and easy to figure out. One of the things with my rope in at 55 feet as I'm starting to jump wake to wake is it's a great progression tool for when you want to move beyond that and start going faster, feeling weight in the boat. This is a tool that's going to allow you to get timing down and learn the feeling and speed to get across the wake without taking a bunch of hard falls in the process. Up next, let's get into what the intermediate settings look like. This is realistically where most riders are going to live if they've started to jump the wake and want to get into some tricks. So for this setting, I've got the boat set to 21 miles an hour. I have about 30% ballast all around in the boat just to give the wake a little bit more shape. My taps plate is on 3 and my rope is at 65 feet. Some people might be a little more comfortable at 60 feet, jumping wake to wake here, but for me, 65 felt pretty good. The idea with this setting is it's going to give you enough to work with to get into some bigger tricks. Starting to do flips, 360s, poking out grabs, stuff like that. The wake is going to peak up just a little bit more, giving you the extra float and air time that you need to get those tricks done. I recommend waiting to get into this setting until you're wanting to start to get into flips and 360s. There's a lot that you can do at the slower speed without taking as hard of crashes, but when you're ready for that next level, this Z3 performed really well in that intermediate setting. So by clicking on that intermediate profile, it automatically set my speed to 21 miles an hour. And from there, I just set all the ballast to 30% all around to make it easy. I think that's a ballast level that'll work really well for any crew size. So whether you've got a boat full of people or just 2 people in the boat like we had today, you're gonna be able to get a wake out of it that's predictable and makes it easy to really get into some bigger jumps. The nice thing about a wake size like this is even as you're starting to do flips and 360s, your mind might say, I want the biggest wake that I can get, so put me on the advanced setting. But going 21 miles an hour slows you down a little bit and gives you enough of a wake that it'll give you the vertical pop that you need and you'll get used to timing without punishing small mistakes. So this intermediate setting is a really friendly area to learn and expand your wakeboarding level for sure. And finally, if you really want to get into some big tricks and you're looking for maximum performance behind this Z3, this advanced setting out of the box really performed well. It's 22.5 miles an hour, 80% ballast in the rear, 100% up front, and taps is on 3. That's the stock setting, so as soon as you press advance, it's going to fill all that up and set to all those settings. And I ran that today because I wanted to see how it was right out of the box, and I was really impressed. Makes it easy to get some big tricks done while still being an approachable wake. This setting is really where preference matters the most though, so don't be afraid to dive into the settings and play with speed, play with your taps plate, and play with ballast configurations. Especially with different size crews in the boat, different riders' preferences, different speeds, diving into some of the details can really make a big performance difference in the feeling behind the boat. Overall though, this advanced setting really performed right out of the box. I'm really impressed with the performance at each skill level on the Z3. I had a ton of fun riding on the advanced setting, but I hope you can see that it's really friendly at every skill level in the process. And it's important to wakeboarding. Giving a rider an experience that's gonna make them wanna come back is the best chance to have fun on the water. So really dive into those settings, create the wake that's useful to each rider at each different skill level, and everybody's gonna have a better time. To recap, the settings we did today were 17 miles an hour with no ballast in the boat and the beginner wake setting to flatten the wake out, make it super unintimidating and easy to roll over for first-time riders. The beginner setting was 19 miles an hour, no ballast in the boat, just creating a friendly wake to either jump one wake and get comfortable or start getting into wake-to-wake jumps. Your intermediate setting was 21 miles an hour, 30% ballast all around the boat, and I recommend that when you're starting to do bigger grabs, bigger tricks, and get into some 360s and flips. That setting was a ton of fun to ride. Finally, the advanced setting, if you're really looking to get into bigger tricks, that was 22.5 miles an hour, 80% ballast in the rear, 100% up front, taps on 3. These aren't hard and fast rules, as I said, so feel free to adjust and fine tune for what works for your crew riding. So I'm really impressed by how dynamic this Z3 was through each of these settings. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, make sure you subscribe to follow along for more details on the Z3 and all the other Tige boats. Thanks for watching.